just went live. We have like 2 minutes. Mm-hmm.
Why you not working now? We dey wait for manager make he come pay us our money now because no pay. Excuse me. Mr. Adams.
So, what stories are piquing your interest?
Definitely the medical story, the story
Ah,
about Oshibajo, the story about what's it called? Oshibajo, the story about the states, the
oh,
debts,
okay.
states being in debt.
Nice one.
Uh,
Okay, cool, 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 cool.
I'm just trying to cover the Ukraine one now.
To open your first money wallet account. Oh yeah, make una give manager green boza. Make una give first money wallet the five boza. Enjoy unlimited bulk enrollment and bulk disbursement with First Money Wallet. Download the First Money Wallet app or dial *894*1# on any mobile phone to activate now. All money
It's going to be a fun show.
First Bank.
Oh, well, you know.
Start your day the smooth breakfast way. Always fresh. Weekday mornings on Smooth.
If it's too loud, you can turn it up and down. Oh,
From where?
The
from
Smooth Breakfast
there.
presents the headlines, the stories, the news.
Okay.
In-depth analysis of national current affairs.
Freshly pressed.
On Smooth 98.1.
You first. First Bank.
Well, here we are, Lagos, Nigeria, world, wherever it is you are listening to Smooth Breakfast Forum. Welcome to Freshly Pressed. I'm Shokwe Martins, and joining me for the next half hour is Fidel. Good morning, Fidel. How are you?
Good morning, Shokbar. Good morning, Lagos.
Yes, yes, yes. And of course, you too, you be my second panelist for today's Freshly Pressed. All you need to do is go up on YouTube and watch us as we stream live on youtube.com/smooth981 FM Lagos. You can leave your comments up on the live stream. You can send WhatsApp messages into 0809 444 I'm even checking that right now. And you can go over to Twitter and use the hashtag freshlypressed981 up on there. Okay, so we've got a lot of stories coming to you today. So let's start off with this one in from the Guardian newspaper. States face bankruptcy over 3 trillion naira subsidy and debts. And the article starts off by saying, with the prevailing economic realities we're in right now, especially the rising price of crude oil, which has gone the highest we have seen in a few years now at the international market, and the cost of the petrol subsidy, which is threatening the 36 states, could worsen the financial crisis facing the states ahead of the 2023 election. Now, the state governors have already expressed their concerns and are asking the federal government to remove subsidies and save states from going bankrupt because, well, it's a lot right now. And with the 3 trillion naira bill, which people were already saying was too high of a price to pay for the fuel subsidy, we're now seeing with oil prices going up that we're going to have to increase that subsidy. And well, it seems like the only way we can increase that is through borrowing at this rate. I mean, Fidel, what would you say to what's going on right now, and to what the state governors in fact have said?
Okay, a little backstory. Yeah, so the Debt Management Office says that domestic debt profile is at 4.1 trillion. Okay, 4.1 trillion, and our states are generating that's internally generated revenue. It's about 849 billion in the first 6 months of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, when you look at our budget, it's at 9 trillion, and most of it is supposed to be serviced by loans, borrowing money. I mean, when you look at these numbers, I mean, you don't need to be a mathematician to know that our numbers aren't looking good. Our states are not generating enough revenue. They're not generating enough IGR. And
Can
the
the states stand on their own without allocation from the center?
exactly the problem is it's like you're saying is this is when they don't break, as we say, for our economists or analysts, because I mean we all know that these states have been spoon fed for the longest time, and now you're saying they can't fund their bills, they can't pay their bills. But the truth of the matter is that this has been on for a while. Now the thing is, if oil prices go up, it's about $110 now. I mean, on the face of it, it looks good, right? Oil prices are up in the market, so we
We
earn
are
more.
a oil producing country, so we
Exactly.
should.
Be happy, right?
Yes.
But the problem is we're spending most of the money on servicing subsidy.
Not to mention, we've had lots and lots of vandalism, and we're not producing. Our output is not as much as it once was.
Look, Shokpe, one governor is saying um, we need to be more transparent and do a little more auditing. I think that was the Ekiti state governor. And then another governor is saying we need to throw out subsidy. If you ask me, we need to find alternative sources of income. That's just it. Oil is, I mean, I'm not saying oil is going to finish, but we need to look inwards at other areas where our economy can benefit from itself. For example, we have hospitality, we have technology, we have mining. For heaven's sake, we have so much leather in this country. I'm surprised all the big fashion houses in the world probably source leather from Nigeria, and people don't know about these things.
Oh,
So,
some do. Some do. I
well,
know certain alligator bags that
I
get their skin from here.
tell me about it. So it's one states can't generate revenue when the money, the means to generate the revenue is in their backyard. Our states have been spoon fed for too long. They need to wake up. And I mean, you are talking salaries, pensions, contractors, and vendors who need to be paid. And all is supposed to come from this one budget. I mean, that we're still going to borrow money from. I mean, I think our states need to wake up. It's a no-brainer.
Well, what do you think, Lagos, Nigeria world, wherever it is you're listening in from? Send your messages in, share your thoughts right now on a freshly pressed. We've got more for you now from the Guardian newspaper. Lagos free zone to decongest Apapa and Tin Can Island ports. This is according to Mr. Godwin Emefiele, the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, who says that the commencement of the Lagos free zone will help overcome all of this congestion that we've been seeing. He said this while he visited the facility on a Saturday in Lekki area of Lagos State. Now, the news agency of Nigeria reported that the entire 850 hectare free trade zone acquired about 15 years ago will commence operations in September 2022. And Fidel, a lot has been staked on the commencement of the free trade zone. I mean, what would you like to see, and what do you expect to see coming from this?
Hey, look, September 2022. I mean, I hope we can keep to this date, right? So the CBN governor was at the free trade zone, and he's saying a lot of good things, right? And the CBN is planning to put 23 billion naira to fund road infrastructure, right? So that this free trade zone, beg your pardon, can be more accessible, and then decongesting Can Island. Uh, I I don't I don't know if, again, this ties down back to what we said in the earlier story. We need to diversify our economy, right? So when the free trade zone is open, we expect that there should be exports, of course, as well as imports. But the idea is to encourage local businesses to move their products outside Nigeria. And I mean, coming with the AFCFTA, right? So Africa
Which
is
is?
the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, right?
There we go.
So coming with that, we have an area through across Africa that is supposed to be one market, and it's supposed to be the largest market in the world when you look at it. It's something that, again, laudable by the CBN governor. I know I've always said it before. I feel like that guy knows what he's doing. contrary to what a lot of people think, but I feel like he knows what he's doing. And the CBN's intervention, I mean, this is something that you should see maybe the Ministry of Works and taking charge of. But the CBN is always putting its foot forward in these kind of things. And I expect that they should also look outside Lagos when it comes to imports and export. I mean, we have waterways in Port Harcourt, in Anambra State. So this kind of awareness that the CBN governor is doing with the free trade zone, I hope it extends to outside Lagos.
Well, now this is 29 years after we decided that we're going to start implementing free trade zones. There was a pretty interesting Business Day article that talked about how we haven't really seen any sort of real and tangible benefits that have come from the active zones that we already have. I'm wondering if the Lagos one is going to change that, because you know that Lagos is the quite bustling economic hub. I wonder if that is going to be something that we will actually make a difference. Because if we're looking at China, where free trade zones have done some tremendous work in boosting the economy and accelerating the economy, looking at Dubai as well, Ghana, Kenya, Nigeria seems to be lagging a little bit behind. So, like I said, it will be interesting to see. Well, first of all, if September 22 if we do stick to that. Second of all, if hopefully all logistical things are put in place so that we will not get any sort of, oh, we can't use the free trade zone because it costs too much to transport from there to where it needs to go to, as with what happened with Calabar. It'll be interesting. All right, anyway, so we've got to move on now. We've got more stories for you. So the next one comes in from this day newspaper. Qatari investment in Nigeria to hit 500 billion naira. This is according to Ali Al Hadri, the ambassador of the state of Qatar to Nigeria. He disclosed this on a Friday at the Qatar Nigeria Economic Forum in Abuja, saying that public and private investors from Qatar are looking forward to finding more opportunities between the two countries in trade and technology transfer. And we heard from Mohammed Abdullahi, who's the Minister of State for Science, Technology, and Innovation, saying we should have more collaboration in science and technological development, research and development, post-service, agro-allied processing of food, medicals, pharmaceuticals. Oh, the list goes on, Fidel. I didn't know that we were looking. I wasn't. To be honest, I've never really thought about Qatari-Nigerian relations and what that could be netting us. But this seems to be quite ambitious. What we're looking to partner in. What do you think?
Shakwe, to be honest with you, it's not too much. It's two areas that the Qatari representative stressed, right? Trade and technology transfer. The truth is that the world is moving from an industry economy to a knowledge economy, right? The science of just raw materials need to move to the science of application of knowledge to make these things faster. And one thing we've seen about these Middle East countries is that they've used the oil or the crude oil they've had to metamorphosize and offer other services
To move past.
Yeah, and now when you think of Qatar, you think of the UAE. I mean, yes, we know they have oil, but now they have so much more. They have one of the best hospitality. They're one of the best in hospitality when it comes to air transport, right? So if Qatar genuinely wants to do business and invest in Nigeria, I think it's a welcome fit. I mean, $1 billion, 500 billion naira. It's a welcome fit. However, it depends on what we make of it. It depends on how much we put into making this the best for our economy. So well done to whoever is brokering this deal.
So let's hope we see the fruits, because we have had a lot of agreements, a lot of partnership, a lot, and I don't know. The potential is always there, but yet.
I mean, disagreements happen when the guys at corporate don't do their job well. So let's hope that the agreements are airtight or watertight, and we hope for the best.
All right, we'll got your messages in. Samuel from Lekki says on the Lagos Free Trade Zone, I will argue that thinking it will decongest Lagos, I don't think the CBN governor knows what he's saying. I'm sure he was escorted with a police convoy, meaning he didn't experience much of the Aja traffic. Even with the roads being built, I didn't see any train tracks for easy movement of people and goods. Why not consider other ports? Or is it because it will make lives better for the southeast and they don't want that, I guess, says Samuel. I see what you did there with the final part of that message, Samuel. And Chris says the Central Bank of Nigeria keeps overreaching itself, getting directly involved in projects in which it has little or no competence. So what are all the government ministries and agencies doing if the CBN is expected to intervene in every sector? It speaks to a serious failure of government, says Chris. Okay. I mean, because the CBN has been brought to task before for overstepping its bounds.
I mean, smart collaboration, if you ask me. Smart collaboration.
Whilst Chika says the thought by the CBN governor that the Lekki port will decongest the Apapa port is nothing but wishful thinking. There's no gainsaying that the Lekki Aja axis is a traffic-prone axis. If the trade zone comes on board as promised by Emefiele, it will add further pain to the residents of that axis. The only way to decongest the Apapa port is to make other ports functional. I mean, to be honest, especially recently, well, on a daily basis, the traffic in that axis is pretty unbelievable. But then, even recently, it has been made so much worse. It is you have a valid point as you send your messages in. And Jerry says the CBN governor is so interested in anything to do with Lagos, doling humongous money to the Dangote refinery. That never ends, and now we see the free trade zones. Okay, whilst Gilbert Musa from Festac says on generating internal revenue during Yakubu Gowon's era from 1966 to 75, some regions in Delta State were known for producing high quality woods, even for export purposes. Oh wow! In the north, during Shagari's era, Yankari Game Reserve and the Argungu Fishing Festival placed Nigeria on the global map. Can't we harness these potentials?
I agree.
All right. Thank you very much for that. We've got this one in from the premium science. Oshibaja to be in charge while I am away, says the president, who has finally said that the vice president will be in charge of governance in the country. He said this when he departed for London on Sunday, and he was speaking to a State House correspondents shortly before his trip to the United Kingdom for his medical checkup. Finally, we get this news, but why does it seem like we have to keep asking to get this news? I mean, or is there something we don't know as to why there seems to be this lag for when handover is made?
I mean, come 2023, amongst other things, as we're asking for school certificates, I think we might need to ask for like a medical check or a stamina check, if I may, because I mean, this has been happening since the president came into power. For the record, there's nothing illegal about the president going to get treatment abroad. However, the morality of it, and I dare say the morality of it, I mean, we have a medical sector, we have our medical doctors who are, there's a lot of flight when it comes to our medical doctors leaving our society. This doesn't speak well when we have to hear on the pages of the newspaper every other morning that the president is leaving. Fine, let's even leave the procedure outside, whether he handed over letters to the NAS or not, whether Mr. Vice President is competent or not.
That's quite important, actually, because
indeed. But where I'm going is that Mr. President has a moral duty to show his people that he has confidence in the economy he has been controlling for about 7 years or a bit over now. It doesn't speak well. There's the constitutional side of it, the legality of it, whether he is properly transferred powers to the vice president. I don't know if the National Assembly is going to take it up. We'll see that as the story unfolds. This is of course not a how would I say, it's not like a trap for the VP to say, oh, I don't come out and say, oh, there was proper handover or not. I mean, he's going to do his bit. I mean, even if the president doesn't know, he has advisors that should tell him that, sir, this is what we're supposed to do. I don't know.
I don't
Again,
know about this, Fidel, because the president has been away on medical checkups not more than
more than enough times to
the
know this
procedure by
exactly.
now.
I mean, let us assume without conceding that he just hasn't been able to get it right. But I feel like his advisors ought to. But I mean, this is Nigeria, and then we just take things.
For
We
me,
just take things for levity.
I mean, the question I would ask you is, what do you think this speaks to with regards to the way he views the country he's supposed to be in charge of, even as he goes abroad? Because this pattern of behavior that we see, wherein we don't hear from the president, we don't see him following a due process, even as a president, in his role as president, in his role as a minister of petroleum. I mean, looking at this just from an impartial point of view, what does this say about the way he views the role that he's currently inhabiting?
Chocolate, you know, sometimes I forget that the president is the minister of petroleum. It's
Yes, it's very easy to do so.
It's unfortunate, but look, in the area of petroleum, I mean, the job has been shabby. I mean, we saw what has been happening the last 2 to 3 weeks in our country. Well, let me say a month. I mean, with the tainted fuel, and then with the scarcity for God knows why. However, like I said in the beginning, this just goes to show that Nigerians need to put this into consideration come 2023. We need somebody who has regard for the people. On the one hand, we need somebody who is healthy, okay, and we need somebody who has the ability, or who has the how would I put it down, the concern or regard for our rule of law. So yeah, I mean, those 3 points, Nigerians need to put those 3 points come 2023. We need to remember these things. We need to enforce these things when we are going to the polling booths.
All right, well, we're going to take your messages as they come pouring in right after this. I didn't realize we had an ad. Ah, not bad, don't worry. How do you feel? Remember, you're telling YouTube. Oh, we've got messages coming in, but for me, I just find it upsetting
I know.
because these things are basic processes. They're basic processes. It's like if you had to come into work and you have to you have
like
to clock
sign in
in.
or clock in.
Why should it be made this difficult?
I mean, the truth is, there's already been that practice. Whether we start to demand it now, it's almost like it's going to be futile. Do you understand? It's going to be futile. If you say, why didn't you do this? And then
We're coming in 3 seconds.
And the nurse is not going to enforce it. That's the question.
All right, let's see what JJ has to say. He says it's very clear that our government officials are not in touch with our reality. How would the free trade zone decongest Lagos? It's just sad that a simple study on the matter would clearly show that this is not true. It's just like moving the issue from one part of Lagos to another. And Taya from Aja says, imagine running a Fortune 500 company the way this administration is doing and expecting it to thrive. Also, Mecca from Ikeja says the constitutional requirement for transmitting power to the vice via the National Assembly applies for trips exceeding 21 days. All right, Rebecca, thank you very much for that. And we've got this Fabian from Ekpa says, in official circles, when a head is going on leave, he hands over to the subordinates. Why can't this be put into the constitution for the presidency? Secondly, presidents of great nations go to hospitals within their country, says Fabian. And by the way, let's just keep it within the medical sector right now. Okay, Fidel, because you had talked about a brain drain a little bit in your analysis of what's going on with Mr. President. From the Guardian newspaper, federal government to tackle brain drain in health sector, says that's the Minister of State for Health, Dr. Mamora, reiterating the federal government's resolve to find a lasting solution to the brain drain syndrome that has plagued the health sector for many years. And he says that the issue they seem to see is seem to have found that they're going to work on is in amping up the training for the resident doctors. I'm just my question would be, there are so many issues that have affected or that have contributed to the increase in brain drain from Nigeria going out. I feel like if those underlying factors are not addressed, wouldn't this just be making sure that there are even better trained medical professionals leaving the country?
I mean, I thank God for one thing. At least we can say that we have medical doctors or medical students that can compete with their peers in any part of the world. The truth of the matter is, look, if those issues aren't addressed, this is going to be like traditional talking, shouting. We're just going over what is not going to be solved. It's not rocket science. These guys are leaving for better opportunities. And the facts speak for itself. The UK, Australia, Canada, the United States, even France, even South Africa. There are Nigerian medical doctors that are leaving for other African countries because of better working conditions, better pay, better facilities to treat the patients. There is joy when you're doing your job in the right environment. So all these factors are contributing to why our medical doctors are leaving. I am surprised that the state minister for health, if I'm correct, is trying to find a way. There is no find a way. We know what the reasons are. They know what the reasons are. I'm sure their nephews or cousins who are medical doctors are probably leaving for the same exact reasons. The only medical doctors we have that, I mean, go to a hospital where you have doctors doing their housemanships, right? This is the topic on their lips. They're all writing exams to leave the country. If these pertinent issues are not addressed, pay, compensation for work, facilities to work with, better working conditions, if these things are not addressed, there is nothing we're looking for again. This is why our medical doctors are leaving. And if the government can't see that, it's rather unfortunate and surprising.
Now, can we take a look at what's happening with our medical students? Because we have this article in from the Punch newspaper. Ukraine approves evacuation of Nigerian students in Sumy. Now, Sumy was among the first cities, one of the first cities to be attacked by Russian forces after President Vladimir Putin ordered the invasion of Ukraine on the 24th of February. And now the Ukrainian government has approved the evacuation of Nigerian students stranded in Sumy following the invasion. Now, of course, Sumy has become a place that we know because or rather that's not in general knowledge, because before it was seemed only people in the medical field knew about Sumy, which houses one of the universities that medical universities rather, which a lot of Nigerian students train at. In fact, of the body of international students that makes up those at Sumy, Nigerians are the majority of that international student body. I mean, Fidel, so now we've had Nigerians trapped there. I mean, finally we're getting some leeway, but what a scary situation it must have been. I mean, what do you say to this now that we've gotten the approval of this evacuation? It's been a while coming.
It's an approval. I look forward to hearing that these students are on a plane and back to Nigeria or move to another state where they can be taken care of before they come back to the country or whatever the case may be. But I hope this is a lesson for our government. Again, we really need to consider these things when we go to the polls in 2023. Vladimir Putin started this about February 24, right? It started as a military operation in quotes, but it has come out to be a full-scale war, right? Now, our students have been, just like every other Western country, our students have been schooling in Ukraine for years. especially those who go to read medicine. And then even during the whole back and forth with Nigerians being trapped in Ukraine, I remember I saw a video where there were a bunch of students running towards, I think it was the border or so, and there were soldiers, and they were shouting, "We're students, we're students. We're not just, you know, workers or something." And I believe this should have been given priority initially since February or earlier in the month. However, better late than never. What is more important is I think I look forward to hearing that these students have been evacuated from these places where there's crisis and taken to somewhere where they are safe. And then I hope they are able to contact their families, because the truth of the matter is that as they're feeling worried wherever they are, so are their family members in Nigeria or wherever feeling scared and petrified about what's going on.
Yes. All right. Well, like Fidel has said, and I would like to iterate, we want them to come home. Get them home. So we've got this message in. MI from Makoka says almost everyone and their dog knows that this feeding bottle federalism is akin to the proverbial frog dying slowly in hot water. States have effectively become lazy appendages of the center instead of productive subnationals. Let's keep kicking the can down the road. One day, we go here. He says, and Vincent says health workers will continue to leave the country. I left Nigeria for the UK about 2 weeks ago. Oh, no, Vincent. Okay, I understand. He says, I was working at one of the best private hospitals in Lagos and was earning really well. All of a sudden, my salary became $600 at the black market rate. And I told myself, I cannot continue to live with economic uncertainty. And on that note, we end the show. Do you remember you can go and continue the conversation? We are at Smooth 981 FM up on Twitter, and make sure you go and tag Fidel. He is at Izotene up on Twitter. Fidel, thank you so much for joining me for today's First Super S.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's been great.
Cheers.
All right, coming up 8:15, 8:15. That's when the locker room takes over the Smooth airwaves. You can catch Tiger as she tells you what's been going on in the world of sports and gives you the breakdown. All of that coming up in 15 minutes. 8:15. It is the locker room.